City of El Segundo has partnered with Sidebar Summit to host an exclusive CEO roundtable during its inaugural participation in LA Tech Week. This is the site of connections and conversations that will propel innovation in AI, aerospace, and energy.
This is the very start of LA Tech Week. We're at day one, and I think it's the first time that El Segundo has really embraced its leadership role in tech in the greater Los Angeles area. Our partnership with Sidebar has brought us here. We have about 400 people coming. We're going to talk with two El Segundo startups that have sort of made it big, one service provider with Protiviti, and then Lightspeed, one of the world's leading venture capital firms. It's very exciting.
So I'm one of the curators of Sidebar. Actually, it's 4 or 5 of us that put together a monthly, not necessarily a networking event. We say it's more of a relationship building event, where at the end of the day, you want to work with people that you like, you want to work with people that you want to support, and you want to work with people that you trust. And startups and investment is all nothing but trust. What we try to do, and what we have done very successfully, is build amazing dialogue around particular topics, really thought leadership discussions. So we have some amazing leaders that are coming both from the venture as well as entrepreneurs who will be talking about some of their journeys that they've had over the last few years.
A lot of entrepreneurs, founders and investors came here. We have a great partnership with Sidebar Summit. We've been working with them a couple years now. Oftentimes we're going up to Silicon Valley, but because LA Tech Week is happening throughout LA this week, this is a perfect opportunity to get all these people here. I think I heard 80% of the people in that room are from outside of LA. And so I spent time talking to them about why they want to do business in El Segundo and how we have the best talent pool, best logistics, best tax environment, best people. El Segundo is becoming the most important place for these hard tech companies that are combining artificial intelligence software along with these big capital projects. Like Doug, who's up there on the panel, lives in El Segundo, former SpaceX. He's working on portable nuclear power in El Segundo. So that's a huge opportunity. And so, yeah, there's a lot of that happening now.
Mayor Pro Tem Chris Pimentel moderated a panel that showcased Radiant and Skyrise, two El Segundo businesses.
I was at SpaceX for about 12 years. I joined way back when it was actually still in El Segundo, back in 2007. I then left 12 years later to work on portable nuclear reactors. And it was because of this work we were doing to get to Mars and put human civilization on another world. And I left SpaceX to go and work on the nuclear technology that I know SpaceX will need to do that.
Yeah, we're making it easier and safer to fly airplanes and helicopters. So today, when you get into an airplane or a helicopter that isn't a big airliner like an Airbus or a Boeing, they're incredibly dangerous, and they're orders of magnitude more dangerous than the big airliners. And that's largely because they don't have any advanced automation inside the cockpits or the aircraft to keep people safe. So that's what Skyrise is doing. We're bringing that automation technology to this industry that desperately needs it, and we're about to start shipping it in the next year.
Both companies have found support and success in El Segundo.
I actually started the company in the Bay Area, and I made the choice to move Skyrise to El Segundo and Los Angeles coming up on about 5 years ago. So I left the tech mecca of the world, to come here. So obviously I have deep belief that this is the right place to be for building technology. El Segundo, specifically Mayor Boyles and his team, they're so supportive of us in creating an ecosystem that's conducive to the success that we're experiencing. So I'm really here to support him and his team and share our story.
I never actually thought of starting it anywhere other than El Segundo. Part of that reason being I moved here and I have 4 kids in the school systems. We've lived now for about 13 years in El Segundo. And I just think it's the coolest set of people you could ever find. And the city council in El Segundo have helped us. We've had 3 different buildings in town as we've grown. We now have about 65 people full-time. We've been able to bring in from the rest of the country and other parts of the state who've joined our mission and cause in El Segundo, and the city's just been awesome in the whole process of finding the right building, working on the lease, making sure that we can support testing. We have high pressure and temperature systems that we test, and they were just awesome throughout the whole process.
And the growth in El Segundo continues to accelerate.
A venture capital firm. They're not even really venture capital only, they're a technology investment company focused on private equity and venture capital. They just opened a fund in El Segundo, and their objective is to raise $550 million. So over $500 million in their first fund, and a lot of those companies are going to be El Segundo companies. And Shaw, the founder, is like, no, I want these companies to be here. I started SpaceX. He actually located his office close to SpaceX, and he wants to continue to keep that momentum going on the innovation front.
I think the city of El Segundo has done a really good job trying to think about what innovation looks like from the ground up and building up that ecosystem. So happy to be a part of that one step of the way.
The event, held at Mantis Venture Capital, provided an environment for solutions-based visionaries to share ideas.
The concept of Sidebar Summit is that, LA Tech Week is too large to penetrate. If you're to come to San Francisco for TechCrunch, it's so large that it's hard to have a meaningful discussion. So the Sidebar Summit is meant to pull together a small group of thought leaders with a group of curated founders and curated investors to have meaningful conversations.
I came from the cybersecurity world, but now I try to invest in anything that makes the world more efficient. Everything from nuclear reactors to enterprise software to AI, anything that adds value to people.
First, the number one goal is to exchange ideas, look for smart companies, smart people, and also share my experience so that I can help other founders and entrepreneurs to launch their business.
It's nice to meet founders in person. You kind of get a chance to hear how they think about solving problems, what they're building, sort of what gets them excited and why they're passionate about building their company. And that's really important for us because we're investing in really, really early stage companies, often with no revenue. And so we're sort of betting on not only the market and the problem they're solving and the idea behind it, but the person. And so when you can spend time with founders here in person, it's always great.
This partnership with Sidebar has been wonderful, and we have seen nothing but collaboration with these leading minds.
It was fantastic. I think the vibes in the crowd were amazing. I think everybody was very much engaged. It was great being up there with a group of such talented founders who are really building and driving forward innovation in El Segundo. And candidly, I hope to do many more of these.
It's great to see the city of El Segundo and a couple of El Segundo-based businesses being represented here tonight amongst all of these brilliant minds working on some big ideas for the future. For El Segundo Media, I'm Katherine Chen.